Still sneaky stuff because we, we were told it was for the water. No, it's for the road. We were told the name hadn't been changed, but apparently it has. They just do things. I'm getting so frustrated. And the whole idea of having an office manager that's overpaid, that when he took that job, he must have known that it said 4 days a week. When he interviewed for the job, I'm sure he knew it was 4 days a week. And he should have said then, no, I can't take the job, or I can't take that much money. And so why wouldn't we, if we're going to have him only 3 days a week, then take a quarter of the pay away? That's that's what it should be. And the idea that I couldn't at my school, I couldn't have told another teacher, let alone anybody in the office or anybody in the principal's office or any other place. No, I'm not going to make my kids do this. I'm not going to do that. I'm not gonna, and I wouldn't have lasted 2 days, let alone 2 years at the eye doctor's office. They wouldn't have put up with that. They would have hired somebody who wanted to do the job, and for the pay that was offered, they would hire. If I said, no, I'm not going to do the prelims on Thursdays, I'm not going to do the prelims, they would have hired somebody else. They would say, okay, you don't have to do them Thursday because you don't work here anymore. And it didn't matter if I was a good employee, because I was, they still wouldn't have kept me. And Carl may be great when he's here, but he's not doing the job. And to talk back, I just can't believe the nerve that people have. And they think they know they're going to keep their job because they know that you guys are going to keep them. I just think that's just, I almost feel like we're right back in the old place we were before. And I guess I give up. I hope you guys do well. I probably won't be to another meeting. I am just really unbelievable.
Connie Wireman, Marshall Township. Yep, we're back to square one, aren't we? It looks like we need to re-elect some new people. I am tired of this. When does an employee tell the boss what I will and will not do? That is ridiculous. Why is he being allowed to be paid for 4 days when he's working 3? Why is a part-timer being given all these perks that are for a full-time employee? If he wants to put his own money in, that's one thing, but we are going to pay him for lunch now? What? If I decide not to pay my taxes, I lose my property. He's going to keep on doing this the way he wants to. He's not losing his job. If we have someone else that wants to do the job, train them. Maybe they don't have the knowledge he has. Haven't you heard of training? Train them. And if this is going to go, if you're going to pay him for 4 days and keep him, then we need to look at your salaries and reduce them. I am fed up with my taxes going up every blasted year. My house is getting older. And as for the receipts, the one time I sent my payment in by mail, guess what? I got a receipt for Sue and Warner's property. She had a 2-story house, a barn, a couple of outbuildings, and a lot more property than I did. And they paid $200 less than I did. Oh, well, your house is newer. Well, too bad. I didn't have all the other items that they had. Did I ever get my receipt? No, I had come in for a duplicate. I think there needs to be some changes. I don't know if we need a new board. And as for this hall, I have been up to Converse Township. It's beautiful. It's really nice. This looks like a dump. And it is a dump. And we let the city weasel out of providing a new township hall. And now we have to pay what for this holding tank of water? That's not our water. That's not our fault. It's across our property. That was illegal. Then doggone it, make them pay it, not us. For 15 years, Ford Blue Oval will not be paying taxes, and we'll be making up those taxes. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's fair. I think if that's the way it's going to be, then we need to reduce all your pay. We also need to either make Carl work 4 days or reduce the pay. And he needs to do the blasted job. If I had told my boss, oh, no, I'm not going to do that, I wouldn't last an hour. You do not let an employee tell you what they are or not going to do. You discuss it, and if they can't do the job, then you hire someone else. And this is ridiculous. We are spending, what, 2 years on this? I don't know. What else are you gonna do? Are you gonna let the city swallow us up?
No.
Is that in the future? I don't know, but I am very fed up. I am very fed up. I campaigned for new board members, and I'm beginning to wonder how many of them deserved any donation or any effort from me. I am very fed up. I'm not giving up. You will hear from me again. Thank you. Goodbye.
All right. Mary Wayne Adams again from Marshall. Watching the chaos over in Marshall Township. Yeah, not a good look. When these kind of issues remain in turbulence and not get resolved. Well, it's a problem with the interpersonal dynamics of employment and servitude. When you get to be grown up enough, you don't want to be under somebody's thumb anymore. And if you're an employee, you can start to get kind of uppity and start trying to dictate what you're going to do and not going to do. But the essence of servitude is that you have agreed to act in compliance with the demands of the employer. So I don't know what kind of stranglehold is being held on the board, but it is definitely not a good look. Okay, I guess we need to go back to basics. This is a document. It's called the Michigan Constitution of 1963. I hope you have heard of it. And right in Article 1, it pretty much explains what your duties are and what our duties are. And Article 1, Section 1 says all political power is inherent in the people. That's this group, not you guys. Government is instituted for their equal benefit, security, and protection, not you guys. You guys are public servants. Section 2, no person shall be denied the equal protection of the laws, nor shall any person be denied the enjoyment of his civil or political rights or be discriminated against in the exercise thereof because of religion, race, color, or national origin. The legislature shall implement this section by appropriate legislation. Equal protection of the laws is very important. That means there is no inequality in application of the law. And when you hire somebody, you know, because the contract is private law. When you hire somebody to specific terms and conditions, and they are not fulfilled by the other party, that's a breach of contract. And it violates the Constitution. You know, the office manager is still bound by the obligations of Article 11, Section 1 of the Michigan Constitution, which says that you're going to comply with your oath of office to support and uphold the Constitution. Okay, or Section 3, the people have the right peaceably to assemble, to consult for the common good, to instruct their representatives, and to petition the government for redress of grievances. The very important part of that is the people have the right to instruct their representatives. And that is solely what you people are supposed to be operating on, is our instruction. When you start taking a position of, you can come up here and say what you want, but we know better, you're not doing your job. And it takes a certain amount of humbling in order to be able to fulfill that obligation. You got to step down from your own predilections and your own ideas, and you are to listen to what these people are saying. And when we're referring to the people in Section 1, the people, it's not our physical bodies. The people, the principle of the people is our individual rights, our natural rights that are protected by the Constitution. And that is what the people is. So, Section 4 deals with freedom of worship. That's really not an issue, what's going on at the moment. But again, Article 5, or Section 5, every person may freely speak, write, express, and publish his views on all subjects, being responsible for the abuse of such right. And no law shall be enacted to restrain or abridge the liberty of speech or of the press. This is the Constitution. You follow statutory construction. Every word has to have meaning. The word no is very special in statutory construction. That means there is no allowance whatsoever for exception. There is no rule, there is no law that allows the curtailing of either topic or time at a public comment. These are violations of the First Amendment in Article 1, Section 5. And even though courts have come out and ruled in favor of the Open Meetings Act, a vague provision of the Open Meetings Act that somehow allows the curtailing of our right to speak, the Constitution is very clear. No law shall be enacted to restrain or abridge. Those words are obvious usurpation, and you guys are supposed to be eyes wide open on usurpation and encroachment of our natural rights.
Didn't think that was supposed
All
to
right, 5 minutes.
be more
Okay.
than 5.
Welcome to Mr. Rogers' neighborhood.
No, sorry about that.
Sarisco. I don't get up and talk very often, as you guys know. I've been here a lot. You see me sit back here. But I worked in industry for 50-some years. And I never seen or heard of a place that allowed the employee to dictate what they were or were not going to do. I know, as somebody else has said it out here, if I had told my employer, I'm not doing that. You know where I would have been? I would have been in the unemployment line looking for another job. I worked in management and I had to fire guys. I fired people, and I fired people that I knew and liked. And they were, I would call a friend. But I had an obligation to my employer to make sure that employee did their job, or the company wouldn't have made money if you allowed that sort of thing to happen. So, like I was obligated to my employer, you guys are obligated to the Marshall Township citizens. I think if I heard right, just about every one of these individuals here tonight got up and said, basically, fire this guy and move on. And that's what I'm gonna say right now. This guy's not doing his job. He's dictating to you what he will do, and he wants the same money for 3 days as he's working 4. Get rid of him. Get rid of him, cut the dead weight, and move on. Find somebody else that can do the job. I'm sure he's not, I'm sure he's a nice guy. But if he's not willing to do the job, he's not helping you. He's not helping him, he's not helping any of you guys. He's dragging you down. And the citizens are sitting out here and that's who they're seeing. He's dragging you down. Get rid of this guy. Move on. Fire him.
Rick Sadler, Squaw Creek. While we're in the mood to play around with job descriptions, how about we have one for Jeff's non-statutory duties? I want to know why we're paying $800 a month in non-statutory stuff when it took from December until now to get fire board terms. That's what, about 8 months, 9 months, something like that. I don't math too well. I've been up since 4 o'clock and y'all got me up at 10:22. So, if you're gonna do it, do it. I'd like to see that myself. Jeff, you said you've been, treasurer, if I understood correctly, for 20 years. So basically you've been sucking off the government for your entire working career. You would think that you would be more help in situations like this. And it's sad. It really is. And to speak to Wayne's comment, this is not a negotiation. This is a job. Here's the conditions of the job. You take it or you leave it. You don't allow the employee to dictate what you're going to do. I've been in management since 1988. I'm over these discussions. You got wrapped up for 15 freaking minutes on receipts. No. It's just, it doesn't get anything done. And Dave, your comment to Glenn about that seems like it should be a treasurer's job. It's a supervisor's job to lead. Why don't you remember that one?
Julie Bryant, Squaw Creek. And I was going to come up here and talk about, and more for public knowledge as well, that I attended an EGLE meeting in regards to the mega site. Ford with DTE, so they'll both be on the property. DTE will be supplying all their energy over there. And they filed for a permit because, you can only put so much dangerous chemicals in our air at one time. So the thing is that they filed for one permit, but now they want to each get measured separately. So, I kind of thought there was a problem. Like if 100 is the limit and then one guy's 99 and the other guy's like 99, they're like, oh yeah, they're great. They're under 100, but they're on the same property. Right. Anyway, You can write to Eagle and let them know their meeting is online. It just happened here this last week. I think it's on the mega site page. Another thing that they're trying to do, and they were talking about tanks over there for the fire station. It got me thinking about this. They want to place 14 tanks of a dangerous chemical outdoors. It's called NMP, and it's considered by the EPA as a threat to our health, basically. So it's not, it's considered dangerous by the EPA, and it's cannot be regulated. So that's all together with that one permit. That's what the permit is for. They're trying to get these, chemicals approved and trying to do it separately, but together. And it's just like, everything else is kind of shady. I too am also disappointed in this board. You all are not the people that I thought that I elected. I heard about transparency and people that represented the constituents. And I'm just seeing people representing themselves. And I thought that Glenn had a great idea with replacing, just like they're talking about, replacing the office manager. But if you do, you need to advertise this, because I'm sure there's a lot of people who would like that job, even at $25,000 or $30,000 a year, which is more with the national average, like Sandra was talking about. So especially for those hours. So anyway, very disappointed in being here at 10:30 for, and then Wayne, we need to get you a job, like handling some money somewhere, because that stuff is real basic. So I'll volunteer to show you everything you need to know. Thank you.
Anyone else? Oh, we'll move on to board member comments.
Well, obviously, I'm extremely disappointed. I've made several attempts to try and find productive things for Carl to do. And it hasn't resonated with the boards. Obviously, I'm extremely disappointed. Dave, I'm disappointed in your comment in particular. I think people who live in glass houses probably shouldn't throw stones. But I guess that's all I have to say. I'm extremely disappointed.
The only thing I'll say is, we may not agree on every issue, but we do take every single comment into consideration. There are people we talk to outside of this room as well. Listen, I talk to my neighbors all around. I ask about things as well. So I understand that we may not always agree with every single decision that's made, and that's fine. But listen, I look forward to the surveys that go out that we'll be able to get more data to be able to inform decisions. But at the end of the day, part of our oath is to make sure that this township is running and that we keep the wheels moving. And that's, we've seen this situation when it hasn't been running, in the sense of no one being in that office, no one being able to drop those things off. So, yep, we may not always agree, but yep, I understand your frustrations.
I took an oath in November to support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Michigan to the best of my ability. That is one of 4 oaths I have taken during my lifetime. First one was a Boy Scout oath. The second one was my marriage vows to my lovely wife, Gail. My third one was my oath of enlistment for 27 years to the United States Air Force. And the fourth one was to this township. It is my feeling that
I represent not only the ones that are here tonight and voicing your comments, which I do appreciate, but I also represent the ones that are not here, that are not voicing their comments. Like, some things are out of our control, like the mega site. I am truly sorry. Well, I won't say sorry. I am, to use Gwen's words, extremely disappointed that we have had to drag this Carl Fowler issue out for what, this is like the 5th or 6th meeting. I'll say 5 months. I am not, and I will not vote as a my way or the highway kind of guy. I will not vote as a yes man to any motion just because somebody else deems it that way. No, a handful of you guys here this evening are all of one mind. That's fine. There are others out there that may have a different thought process. Those have to be considered, not just the ones that are here at night. That's how I look at it. And for everything else, due to the lateness of the hour, I'm done.
I guess we're adjourned.